Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The March 27, 2013 meeting of the Ways and Means Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Andrews? Here. Mr. Antelli? Here. Mr. Baroth? Here. Mr. Daniele? Here. Mr. Haney? Here. Mr. Hanna? Here. Mr. Howland? Here. Ms. Cayley? Here. Mr. McCann? Here. Mr. Tucciarello? Here. Chairman Yolovich?
Here. Are there any speakers signed up for the public forum?
There is not.
Is there anyone here not signed up that would like to speak to this committee? Seeing none, the next item is the approval of minutes. You have the minutes of the February 27, 2013 meeting in your folder. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. The next item is new business. Madam Clerk.
Referral 13-88.
Moved by Legislator Howland, seconded by Legislator McCann. Is there any discussion? Legislator Haney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On these contracts, the amounts, are we comfortably certain that we're recovering our full costs on these contracts?
Who are we directing that to? Somebody over there getting that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, John Clark from the Monroe County Crime Laboratory. Yes, sir, we are confident that we're recovering the full costs of those of the testing we're doing from those contracts.
Okay. Through the chair, have we increased the contract amounts from the prior year?
Yes, it has increased.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-89.
Moved by Legislator McCann, seconded by Legislator Daniele. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Legislator Haney.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, what exactly is the nature of the improvements that the Garden Club is going to do at the castle?
Through the chair, they're going to renovate some of the gardens in the rear of Warner Castle to put them back to historically accurate condition.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-90.
Moved by Legislator Daniele, seconded by Legislator Tucciarello. Legislator Haney.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, are we replacing signals before their usual life expectancy would expire, or are we just putting these upgraded signals in as existing signals need to be replaced?
Through the chair, we're replacing the pedestrian indications that are there, the walking person, the hand, and we're going to replace them with a walking person hand as well as a countdown pedestrian, the countdown time. Our original plan was to just replace them as their life expired, but we were able to get this money, and we do need to do them at some point, so we thought it was advantageous to do it all at once.
So we are replacing pedestrian signals that, through the chair, that are otherwise still operable?
Through the chair, I'd say operable. I wouldn't say they're towards the end of their useful life, but they're still operable or they wouldn't be out there, correct?
Okay. So through the chair, is federal money paying for all of this?
Through the chair, yes. We did get Safe Route to School money, 100% of $418,000, and then we got 90% of the other $1.5 million to do this. It's really a safety project because there's just to let everybody know, it's one of the things that we find with the pedestrian indications is people get confused on what that flashing don't walk signal means, and they get partway out and then they turn around and walk back, and that really means you're supposed to, once you started, you have time to complete your crossing. And so with children and elderly have a hard time with these. We get a lot of calls on it, and the newer technology and the requirements now are to have the countdown time on it, so everybody will know exactly how much time it is to go safely across the street.
So it's your, again through the chair, so it's your professional judgment that even though the existing signals are are still operable, that we should replace them with these newer signals?
Through the chair, yes, it is.
Thank you.
Just as a point, if you've never experienced one of the countdown ones, they're really pretty cool. I think they're good, yeah. Legislator Baroth?
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, for the Monroe County Department of Transportation Traffic Engineering Program, how much of that funding comes from the county and how much comes from other sources?
Through the chair, are you talking about what money we are adding or what money we are usually having there? We have $125,000 now, and we're adding almost $2.1 million.
I meant in terms of the other funds. The Highway Safety Improvement Fund was 90% federal, 10% county funds. The Safe Routes to School program was 100% federal, and then there's no description for the Transportation Traffic Engineering Program for $91,200. I just wondered where that was coming from.
Oh, through where the county dollars are coming from, that's in the capital program now, and what we're proposing to add to the capital program, so we're able to do our normal some of our signal maintenance that we do in terms of loop work, in terms of putting in the audible tactile pedestrian signals, replacing cabinets, putting in new signals. That's the capital fund where that type of work comes out of.
Thank you. Then through the chair, that means county funds, in fact.
County funds.
Okay, then through the chair of the administration, I got a little confused because it states that the total funding increases 88% federal aid, and then I would imply 12% county, correct? The last paragraph, the total increase in funding will be supported 88% from federal aid.
Through the chair, okay. Agree.
Okay. Then, just so I'm clear, because I calculated this two different ways, and I got two different numbers, what is then the dollar amount of the county coverage that we are paying? I believe it's $251,760, but I could be wrong.
Through the chair, it comes out to about that. We're increased about $250,000 into the county's part of it, and then we have to pay the 10% share towards the federal program out of that, as well as other programs that we're going to be doing with the remaining $91,000 or whatever.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Legislator Cayley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration. Back to the signal itself. Is the life expectancy about the same as the countdowns or the non-countdown crossers that you'll be replacing?
Through the chair, that's what we're being told, since I don't have, we have about 100 of them up now, and we haven't had any problems, but they've been up a short time, but we're being told their life expectancy would be similar to the other ones.
Okay, thank you. And I'd just like to add, I'm very familiar with the countdowns. They also help with the red light cameras that are up at different areas in the county. So you can see whether or not you should begin to stop or you have plenty of time to get through an intersection. So thank you.
Legislator Baroth.
Thank you. Through the chair, to the administration, I had one last additional question in that regards. Are there any audible components to this program? Is it all visual in nature?
Through the chair, no, this is all the visual. The audible tactile pedestrian program that we're doing, that's different. We talked about that back at the budget time.
Separate.
And that's where there's specific locations we're putting that in, but that's a different device. That's where you press the button and feel or hear something different. This is just you're seeing the time countdown instead of the flashing hand.
Okay. Then through the chair of the administration, where we see these signs coming with the visual countdown, we should anticipate that there will be no audio versions coming out anytime soon for those intersections.
I have not seen anything through the chair, an audible version counting down the time. We got audible versions with the chirping or the vibrating, so you know when to walk if you're visually impaired, but I've not seen anything of where they start telling you how much time is left. That might be the public and the people that live there might not like that too well.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-91.
Moved by Legislator Tucciarello, seconded by Legislator Antelli. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-92.
Moved by Legislator Antelli, seconded by Legislator Hannah. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-93.
Moved by legislator Hannah, seconded by legislator Howland. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-94.
Moved by legislator Howland, seconded by legislator McCann. Is there any discussion? Legislator Baroth.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, it's my understanding that these targeted areas are done by zip codes. Through the chair, are any of these zip codes outside the city of Rochester, or are they all inside the city of Rochester?
Through the chair, these are clustered in the city.
With no exceptions, through the chair.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-95.
Moved by legislator McCann, seconded by legislator Daniele. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-96.
Moved by legislator Daniele, seconded by legislator Tucciarello. Is there any discussion? Legislator Baroth.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, when I went through this referral, I noted that the contract ends March 31st, 2017, but when we talk about the option to renew for 4 additional one-year terms, that would actually end at December 31st, 2017, about 9 months later on. Will that prove to be a problem down the road if we actually have 4 renewals of the contract?
Through the chair, no.
Thank you. Through the chair, could you tell me why that won't be an issue if we extend a contract past the life term of the grant?
Through the chair, part of that was because there were allocation in the budget year that was set already, and then the other piece of that is if there is additional funding that needs to be truncated later on, we have the flexibility to do that.
Thank you. So through the chair of the administration, then, if, for example, we do go to the 4th year, funds will be made available one way or the other through the county budget.
Through the chair, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-97.
Moved by legislator Tucciarello, seconded by legislator Antali. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-98.
98? How about 100? I don't have a 98. Is there any discussion?
You have to move in second.
I'm sorry. Moved by legislator Tucciarello, seconded by legislator Antali. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-100.
Moved by legislator Antali, seconded by legislator Hannah. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-101.
Moved by legislator Hannah, seconded by legislator Howland. Legislator Andrews.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, when will these elevators reach the end of their useful life?
Through the chair, Jason Kennedy with Environmental Services. The elevators are original to the building. They date nearly 40 years old, and certainly could be argued that they're at the end of their useful service life. We have an aggressive maintenance program to try to keep them in good repair, but if you've been in the Hall of Justice, you'll see that oftentimes one or more of the cars is in some state of disrepair or service. So I'd say they're just about there.
Thank you. Through the chair, then, if this is approved, when would you expect that this basic design work would be completed and back to you?
Through the chair, we expect to complete the design in the next 6 months time frame and let construction in the 4th quarter of this year, 2013.
Thank you very much.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-102.
Moved by legislator Howland, seconded by legislator McCann. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-104.
Moved by legislator McCann, seconded by legislator Danielle. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-105.
Moved by legislator Danielle, seconded by legislator Tucciarello. Legislator Haney.
The last item, the one in the town of Sweden, could, through you, Mr. Chairman, could someone give us some explanation of what happened here?
Through the chair, Tim Murphy, Director of Real Property. What happened was the assessor moved the property from Roll Section 8, which is exempt, to Roll Section 1, so they ended up with a tax bill when they should have ended up with a pilot bill.
So, through the chair, their Comida exemption has not expired?
Through the chair, that's correct.
Through the chair, the page from the annual report of Comida, the page that relates to this project, one of the questions for each of the projects is whether, and I quote, whether the current year is the last year for reporting. Now, this is the Comida report for the year 2011. The 2012 report, I don't know if it's out or not. I haven't seen it. And on the report as of December 31, 2011, Comida answered the question, is the current year, which apparently would be 2011, the last year for reporting? And they answered it yes, which would suggest that Comida was saying that 2011 was the last year for a tax exemption. Through the chair, how do we reconcile that with the fact that there's now an issue about an exemption in 2013?
Through the chair, we would have to check with Comida with regards to that report. Based on the agreement that I saw, the last year for the exemption would be 2012, which would be for the 2012 assessment roll, which would be for the 2013 bill.
So through the chair, you're in effect saying that the Comida report for this project is in error?
We will, again, we will have to check on that and get back to you.
Yeah, if before I'll vote for this tonight, because if these people have been shorted, we certainly need to make them whole. But before the legislature meeting, I'd like a report on what happened here. I have the page from the Comida report, if it would be helpful to you. But as to why they were saying that the year 2011 was the last year of their activity with them, if we could have an explanation of that before the legislature meeting, I'd appreciate it.
We can do that.
And if you'd like this, I'd be glad to share it with you.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-107.
Moved by legislator Tucciarello, seconded by legislator Antelli. Legislator Haney.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to vote against this referral. I don't necessarily encourage anyone else to follow my lead in so doing, but I just have a problem with the fact that a great deal of the capital work that the Water Authority is currently, expansion work that they're currently doing, is to enable the Water Authority to sell water in areas of Genesee, Ontario, and Wayne County. especially expansion out into Wayne County. My problem, while it might make good business sense for the Water Authority, my personal problem with that is that as water mains are spread out into these adjoining counties, development almost automatically follows, both residential development and commercial development, which probably drains residential activity and commercial activity out of Monroe County, which I think is counterproductive to everything else that we're trying to do. And since this is one of the few ways I have of expressing some displeasure with that, I'm going to vote against this referral, but as I say, I don't necessarily urge anyone else to follow my lead.
Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Andrews? Yes. Mr. Antelli? Yes. Mr. Baroth? Yes. Mr. Daniele? Yes. Mr. Haney? No. Mr. Hanna? Yes. Mr. Howland? Yes. Ms. Cayley? Yes. Mr. McCann? Yes. Mr. Tucciarello? Yes. Chairman Yulovich?
Yes.
10-1 passes.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Referral 13-111.
Moved by Legislator Antelli, seconded by Legislator Hanna. If you'll notice, the next two, this referral and the following one, are as a matter of importance. Somebody from the administrative table, explain to us why.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. The first referral with regard to the grant from the State Office of Children and Family Services for the Safe Harbor Plan. The reason that we requested consideration as a matter of importance on this one is that, as you can see from the referral, the grant period began last October 1st. Despite that fact, we received notice of the award of this grant to the county only within the last couple of weeks. The vendor that was selected or directed by the state to be selected for this has indicated that it would be critical for us to proceed sooner rather than later with accepting the grant money so that we can then pass the money through to the vendor so that they can hire the appropriate staff to begin the work of this grant, which is due to conclude at the end of this year. The next referral, the reason that this was presented as a matter of importance for your consideration, although the bid opening for this project was not done prior to the introduction of referrals as regular matters at the last legislature meeting, but the Department of Transportation has recommended that we submit it as a matter of importance so that hopefully the bid can be approved and the work can begin during this construction season and be completed in a timely manner.
Thank you, Mr. Helfer. Okay, as to referral 111, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Did I miss discussion? I apologize. Legislator Andrews.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know we talked about this a little bit last night, but we discussed it a little bit further afterwards and had just a couple more questions. Last night, I believe it was indicated that the state allowed the county to just choose a lead agency, and you chose Center of Youth, I think for good reason. But my question would be, could the county have chosen to use an RFP process had it wanted to, through the chair?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. The question is, could we have used an RFP process for this particular grant? As I mentioned last evening, the Office of Children and Family Services did send a letter, and in that letter, they directed the administration to choose an organization to be the lead for this particular grant. Between that first letter and the actual award to Monroe County, there had been several conversations between New York State and the Center for Youth Services about the appropriateness of that particular organization. I'm not privy to all of those conversations. However, there were conversations between Center for Youth Services and the state of New York. I would go on to say to you that there are certain times when it is appropriate, when there is a natural link and a conversation that has already occurred between the funder and a provider, that you would choose a particular organization. Recently, coming before this body was Safe Havens grant. A very similar circumstance where there is a natural link between an organization and a funding source. That's what occurred in this case.
Thank you. And through the chair, then, if you could just again describe briefly why is it that there's a natural link between Center for Youth with this grant, in your opinion? I know we talked a little bit about the age range, but is that the only reason?
The grant is designed to provide for the training and development of a plan for sexually exploited and youth, and particularly youth that are victims of commercial sexual exploitation. The population is 12 to 17-year-old high-risk youth, generally runaway and chronically homeless youth, and that is the defined population that the Center for Youth works with. In addition to that, the Center for Youth had done some research on the number of young people by self-report that they had served in the 2010 year, and they identified of their population high percentage, and I may be able to tell you exactly the percentage, of their 2010 population of 175 young women in their self-report. There were 37% of them identifying themselves as victims of sexual abuse, rape, or exploitation, and of those, 6 of those young women identified themselves as being victims of commercial sexual exploitation, which is the primary focus of this particular grant. What we know in this community anecdotally is that there is a regular process of commercial sexual exploitation that is occurring in this community. We know that there is movement of young women down the interstate. They come from Syracuse to Rochester to Buffalo and then move back again. But we do not have a lot of documentation, formal documentation of any of that. That's what this grant is designed to address.
Thank you very much for that thorough explanation. I appreciate it.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item, please.
Referral 13-113.
Moved by Legislator Hannah, seconded by Legislator Howland. Is there any discussion? Legislator Haney.
Engineer's estimate of the cost?
Through the chair, the engineer's estimate was a little over 1.7 million, or just about 16% higher than this bid.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Is there any unfinished business? Hearing none. There being no further business, the March 27, 2013 meeting of the Ways and Means Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Ways and Means Committee is scheduled for April 24th, 2013. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.